Cavs fans, welcome back, welcome back. Season's officially over, and boy, is the media fucking blowing up the Cavs Twitter. Holy Lord. A lot of stuff came out, article from The Athletic with Shams, just really talking about every single thing going on inside the Cavs organization with the players, the coaches, the front office, the ownership, like everything. We'll go through and just kind of touch on those things throughout, but we're basically just going to go through a new style segment. It's a this or that segment. Are you on this side of the argument? Or are you on that side of the argument? Um, Start off here with JB Bickerstaff possibly getting fired. I think based on the article, if you guys read it or have been on Cavs Twitter, everyone's basically talking about how he's going to get fired. There's been multiple instances where Kobe Altman and Dan Gilbert have scolded JB for high minutes, and the players are not believing in the practices, the accountability, the game planning, the adjustments, all that kind of stuff. And even just as recently as this series versus Celtics, they were going through and watching film, and JB's just praising the Celtics for how they're so unselfish. And if the guy's got it going, you get him the ball, like all that kind of stuff. It's just bad overall. So for me, I'll go first. Slim, you can give your thought after. I'm on this. I'm on the fire JB train. He needs to go. I don't know when that would happen. I think they definitely said they're taking definitely a few days to see what happens, but this just seems like everything that we've heard from the organization, from the media, it's all leading to him being fired. And the only question mark I would have with it is there a better coach out there? I would like to think so. I think the assistant from Minnesota, Micah Nori, I think his name is. I think he was really good for the T-Wolves in that first few games with Chris Finch out. I know he has been assuming the head coaching role while the games are going on, but it's Chris Finch's job. So I like what he's doing with them, and I think we can kind of work. We have a similar roster construction as of now, which we'll get into later, but as the T-Wolves. So I would like to think that he would be a good option, but I'm on the fire JB train.
I'm with you as well. I think JB gotta go. I see a similar way of not really being assertive and just drawing things that work up for the guys in a way that Doc would do for any other team. But I think that the Suns just fired Frank Vogel. I could see
I
him
don't
going.
want Frank Vogel.
I could see him going to the Lakers, but if y'all can pick up, I like that Micah Nori pickup. I think that would be good. Those first two games in Denver were played phenomenally, and I think that for him to be able to just step up in Chris Finch's role, if y'all give him the bread, that could definitely be a nice little slide.
Yeah, no, my biggest thing is there a better coach out there? I don't know if there is. I would like to think so because I think JB is pretty ass, to be honest. And there's been multiple reports with Donovan and other veterans in the locker room saying, based on from this article, this is all the stuff I'm talking about from the article, is saying how they're super happy with a first round playoff series win where we just took the Orlando Magic to fucking 7, and we could have closed them out in 6, and Donovan Mitchell had 50 points, scored our last 18 all in the fourth quarter. Like, those are the things that just simply can't happen as a team, and I'm out on that. So if the veterans are doubting your adjustments and your offense, and even players like Jared Allen, low key, like didn't intentionally, but like low key took a stab at JB in one of his post-game pressers after Game 3, where he was saying Jamal Mosley made great adjustments, and there was points where I was just standing in the corner, and I'm like, well, what are you doing with that? Like, obviously that's a shot at JB and just praise for Jamal Mosley, which I think Jamal Mosley's great. But moving on to the other side, more toward the player aspect. All rumors as of now is the league is believing that Donovan Mitchell will sign a 4-year, up to $209 million extension with the Cavs to put him here through. He would be 33 or 32 by the time that contract would be up. So definitely very, very interesting. I would love that. I really, really would. I think without him, this team goes back to being a play-in / around the Indiana Pacers level team. I would like to think a little better, but around there. So I'm very out. All indications, I'm giving it 85% chance. This is my number. This is not true for any this is just me. I give 85, he stays, 15, he leaves. So obviously I think we're all in on him staying as for the Cavs. I think that's the best thing. But if that does happen, there's been reports that Garland's representation would have a conversation about a possible trade if Donovan stays, and would talk to Darius, see if he wants to be traded or if whatever. So are you on this side of the argument or that side of the argument? DG staying.
I think, and then that's the thing. I see how they communicate with each other. I know Spider is a definite lock, especially for Cleveland. I think he's the guy to build around. I think this was the season that we were expecting Darius to really step up, but he battled a lot of injury earlier on in the season, so that kind of maybe messed up the flow. But I like the chemistry between him and Donovan. I just want to see him be more aggressive. I see that they can communicate pretty well, and I would have trust and faith in that chemistry. But what it is that I've seen this past playoffs, I'm not so sure. So DG may be on the move, but I'm definitely on the fence with it. I think that if you hold on to him and trust that he could make a development during this off season and stay healthy during the regular season, y'all stayed at the top of the Eastern Conference the majority of the season until y'all got riddled with injury. So I think that holding on to DG could be a thing, but also if you want to move on from him, get a better point guard. I mentioned before this ep, maybe a Dennis Schroeder or something like that, somebody who can be consistent.
I don't know if he's let's push the brakes. He's not better, but he
Yeah.
would be a backup replacement with Donovan going to the point guard.
100%, 100%. But I think that Dennis Schroeder is definitely, the type of player that you could use, in some type of form of that lineup, whether it be coming off the bench or anything. I think that could be a big step up, can facilitate, can, be strong, be assertive. And that's what I want to see from DG. I want to see consistency and aggression.
Yeah. My thing is we just see, especially with DG and Evan. I understand they're younger players, but they're getting now to the point. Evan's going to be going into his 4th year, Darius into his 6th year, I believe, or 5th year. The aggressiveness when people are out, I appreciate it, and I understand that you have to take more shots, but we've seen teams do this where their best player takes 25 to 30 shots, and then the second best player takes 18 to 22 shots. Why is that not happening here? I don't know. And why does it take Donovan being out for Darius to be ultra aggressive attacking the hoop? I don't know. These are just questions that I would like to have answered. I don't think there is really a clear answer for them. But for me, DG is my favorite player on the team. I love DG. He has been backing up my statements about him this season. But if Mitchell stays, I would like him to stay too, but I can understand if he wants a trade, and I wouldn't be mad at the return we would get, because based on everything from Shams in this article and just today on media, they're saying how there was a lot of potential suitors for DG. I think the Spurs would be a possible one to go play with Victor Wembanyama, and you can get some compensation for that. I don't really love that for the Cavs aspect. I don't think there's many players on that team that I would really want. Because I'm out of the business of getting picks. I'm just out on it. I don't want picks. I want players to help us compete for a championship, because that's what this team's built to do. Then moving to the other side, to the bigs of the core 4, Evan is eligible for a max contract extension. I believe he will get it. He should get it. I know he hasn't taken the leap that everyone wants, but I thought Game 5 was really, really good for his development. If it shows that when he's at the 5, he can go and attack anyone he really wants. I mean, I understand it's Al Horford he's attacking, but I feel like he dominated switches really well, and it's just a discredit to JB Bickerstaff that it takes the 4th quarter, when your season's over in the last 8 minutes, to throw the ball down to Evan in the post and just let him work. It's amazing that that's how long it takes, because he finally has it going, so now you just feed him. He's good enough to do that relatively consistently. You see what you got from him in the first quarter. If you think back to the LeBron teams, they would post Kevin Love up all the time in the first quarter and let Kevin Love get going a little bit. Do that with Evan. I don't understand why this is so complicated. There's no play, there's no nothing. You throw it down in the post, and he's not good enough to the point where they're going to double him like he's a Jokic or an Anthony Davis. He's going to have a one-on-one, whether it's against a guard on a switch. If you want to work a play in to get him to switch, which you did multiple times, which I thought was good, but then you don't throw it down to him. So what are you going to do? Sorry, I digress. Just a little rage from post series, but
it's real shit. And that's what I want to see from Evan. I want to see that, like, it.
I
Like,
think I thought he was good in Game 5.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good.
He was. I see him on the defensive end. I see him on the offensive end. I see that he's kind of the glue, kind of holds things together, especially, you know, for Spider, because there are moments where DG doesn't show up, and I think that everybody else is kind of surrounded around defense. I don't think that George Niang performed as well as you thought he would. I don't think, you know, I think
there's
the same
a lot
thing.
of guys that underperform, man. The only ones that I think overperformed consistently were Donovan and Jared Allen. I think they were the only two that I felt like really took it to another level. I thought Karras and Evan were basically what I figured we would get from them, with Evan and Karras both having a couple games where they went up and a couple games where they went down. So at the average of what they were. And I thought that Darius and Max Strus for the most part was down. I thought he had a good couple games toward the end. But Darius was just down, man. It's just tough. But last thing here, moving on to the other big man, Jared Allen. He didn't take an injection to numb the pain in his ribs to try and play. Soft as fuck. You can't go back-to-back years saying the lights are too bright and then doing that shit. I'm sorry, you just can't. I don't know how serious the injury is. It sounded pretty serious, but if there was a rumor that you can go and do an injection and your teammates were a little pissed you didn't try and get out there, it's a little tough. You should be trying to play. I'm sorry, you should be. You at least give it a go. But are you on this side of the argument or that side of the argument of trading Jared Allen? I'll go quickly. For me, my order of trades would be number 1, trade Jared Allen, number 2, trade Darius. I think that's just how it should be going, because I think we've seen with both guys, it didn't matter who it was, Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, we played better with one of them at the 5 and the other one not on the floor, basically, when we played 4 out, 1 in. Or even with Evan, you can go 5 out and throw him in the outside if you want to play a little more pseudo Bucks style offense. But like for me, I understand as an organization, you might want to trade DG and get more compensation back than you would get for Jared Allen. But I think it's a worse fit between Evan and Jarrett than it is for Donovan and Darius, in my opinion. I think that's just point blank period what it is. I think the most likely scenario we see is JB Bickerstaff getting fired and Jared Allen or DG getting traded. I think 2 out of those 3 things will happen this offseason, which is tough, but changes are coming, and I'm excited for the change. But what's your thoughts on trading JA, and we'll wrap this up.
JA may need to go. I think that if y'all could get a nice vet and really maybe some youth in that lineup, maybe Mo Bamba, and I know Mo is on the fence of becoming, you know, a solid player the more minutes that he gets. But I think that if you could get Mo in replace of Jared Allen, mix that youth with Evan, and then if you get Darius out of there, if you could get, like I said, a point guard like Dennis Schroeder, Mike Conley maybe, or, you know, something like that
I like the bench point guard.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I think Donovan has to start at the 1. I think he just does.
Yeah.
Because I think we saw him playing the 1 in that stretch where we won the league best 22 games from mid-December to the All-Star break. So I think he has to play the 1, but I definitely think we will need a bench point guard after that. I know Ty Jerome was signed this offseason, played like 5 dribbles. But I don't think I think it was just a 1-year deal. I could be wrong, but I'm not really remembering. I'm not fully in off-season mode yet. This is just my initial thoughts, and with this article, had to get something out. But go ahead.
Quick question. Would you take Anthony Simons in place of Darius?
I want to say no, because I feel like I want to say no.
Oh, he's like a 2 guard. I know he's a 2.
Yeah, he's bigger. He's bigger, which is the only reason I would maybe say yes. But I think if we're going to trade Darius, I want to move away from the 2 guard heavy lineup. I would want to go more, get some fucking wings, please, kind of thing. But we'll go into the offseason and we'll have all the potential trades and all that shit you want. We will be doing Cavs content probably 1 a week But that's it for this one. Like, comment, subscribe.